Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I posted on Google Classroom that please turn on your camera the whole time during class. Yes, okay, thank you. What about the plan today? Today's plan is presentation, right? Presentation, I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Two groups will presentation today.
Okay. Did they know the order?
Yes, they already have their topics.
Yes. Okay. So now first group, please. I allowed you to share screen. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think that it will be better if I stop my microphone. So in case I lost your voice, I will turn on my microphone. So don't worry, please, presentation, please.
Can you hear me clearly? Hello everyone, I'm Linh, and today I'm representing for group 3. Today we will present about the risk of the collecting bank under DP and DA transaction. Can you see our side clearly?
Yes.
Okay. So to start with, before going to the risk, let's take a brief look about documentary collection. So about the definition has been mentioned in the previous lesson, so I will not repeat it, and you can read it on the slide. But I will point out the point that makes it, this method different from other payment methods.
Sorry. Don't speak too much, too fast, because of we speak through internet. That's why sometimes the quality of internet is not good enough. So easy for us to lose your voice. Okay, slowly, yes.
Okay, and I will point out what makes this method different from other payment methods is that during this process, the collecting bank, which is the importer's bank, will send the docs to the importer in the condition that they have accept the payment and fulfill other terms of the collection instruction. And to know more, there are 4 types of documentary collection, which is DP, stands for the documents against payments. The second is DA, which stands for the document against acceptance, and forward DP and DOP. But today, I will only focus on the DP and DA transaction. Next, I will begin first with the DP transaction. About the definition, when the collecting bank, they will only issue the commercial documents when the importer pays for the collection. And meanwhile, under the DA transaction, the importer receives the document by signing the BE and doesn't need to pay immediately. The payment time is agreed upon the sale contract. Moving to the condition required, under DP, both goods and documents must arrive at the same time, and the importer has the possibility to pay immediately. On the contrary, DA transaction is applied when between the 2 parties, the relationship between them are good maybe they have a high reputation or they have cooperated before. And next, it is obvious that under DA, the risk level is much higher. And the next, I will mention about the process of the documentary collection. As our teacher has mentioned before, in this process, they include 9 steps. But today I will just mention about the roles of the collecting bank in this process. It starts at step 4, when the remitting bank forwards the documents to the collecting bank. It includes the cover letter and the commercial documents. And the big difference between the difference under DA and DP transaction is under DP, the collecting bank the importer to pay. And after receiving money from the importer, the collecting bank required.
We lost your voice for some seconds. So can you repeat?
Just mention about the difference under DA and DP. Under DP, the collecting bank advised the importer to pay, and they just release the documents at the time they have received money from the importer. But under the DA, they require the importer to accept the usage of the bill of exchange, and the importer can check the documents before accepting. After that, the collecting bank transfers documents to the importer, and when they transfer money to the remitting bank at step 8 and step 9, the mission of the collecting bank have completed. And moving forward to the risk of the collecting bank, they might have to face with, I will also give some possible solutions. The first risk is about the entrusted payment risk, which in Vietnamese it is ủy thác. When the collecting bank does not receive money on time, but makes money available to the remitting bank in the transaction. And so the collecting bank should carefully check the instruction in the collection order and must make sure the importer receives the documents and accept the payment on time. Okay, sorry, 4 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes and counting.
The next risk is when the collecting bank gives the importer documents without adding collecting fees. So they lose the right to claim fees here. And to tackle this, the collecting bank should only present the documents when all the fees are collected. Another risk is the collecting bank have to take responsibility for the unwanted problems with the goods when the payment is in process. In the URC 522, it's stated that the fee arises from any parties is the responsibility of them to pay it, which means that the importer has to pay the service fee for the collecting bank. But in some case, the importer don't pay the collecting bank fees, so the collecting bank waits for the fees and lead to slow payment. And in that case, collecting bank does not hand the document to the importer, so they will have to take responsibility with any problems about the goods, because it is against the law that the documents must be released when the importer makes payment. And to tackle with this, the collecting bank should still give the document to the importer, even they don't pay the fees, but they can deduct the amount sent to the remitting bank to get the fees. And next, when the collecting bank guarantees the payment, they have to pay unconditionally when the collection is at maturity, even if the importer will pay it or not. To be more specific, under DA, the collecting bank guarantees payment to the importer and sends the guarantee notice for the collecting bank, but the importer does not pay for some unknown reason. We have mentioned in the previous lesson. And the solution for this is the collecting bank should consider carefully the performance and the financial position of both the exporter and the importers before party fishing. The other...
Oh, sorry, can you wait for me 1 minute? Wait for me 1 minute, please. Okay, okay. Chị đang... Yes. Hello. I'm so sorry, Miss Dương. So sorry because of I have a urgent call, so that's why I stop you. So sorry. Okay. Please go on. Go on, please.
Yeah, I have talked about 4 risks, so we'll now continue with the next one is about when the importer does not accept to pay the cargo because some reasons could be like they have found another exporter or they have found any problems in documents, so they lose the profit from the fee collection. And to deal with this, the collecting bank should report to the remitting bank and put that importer on the bank blacklist to never have this situation again. And the last wish we will mention is about the exchange rate risk, which is very difficult to handle. To be specific, when trading between 2 parties and 2 different countries, so trading currency is necessary, which is affected by the exchange rate. For example, when the exchange rate is lower, it will make a loss for the collecting bank. And this is the 5 risks we have mentioned. And this is the end for our presentation. Thanks for listening. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, okay, thank you for your presentation. And yeah, I'm so sorry again. Yes, your presentation, I think that it will be better for us, for listener. Please add the slide number into your slide, please. Add the slide number, because without slide number, not easy for me to make comment, not easy. Okay, and also the next group, add the slide number, please. And you, Miss Linh Dương, add the slide number and you show it again, please. Because I have some, yes, I have some, yeah, I don't understand much when you presentation, when you presented a lot of contents. I need you to re-explain. Okay, so before I give, I make comment, listen to your classmates. What about the comments? What about the questions from your classmates? Please comment, make comments first and then a question. Okay, please. Raise your hands, please. Please show up your slide. I cannot see your slide now. Okay.
There is this
Next slide,
number.
please. Next slide, please. Go on, go on. Go on. I will say stop when. Okay. Stop. Okay. Stop here. Okay. Now, what about your comment? What about your comment? No comment? No question? So I will assign some Mr. 44, please.
Yeah.
After listening her presentation, do you have any comment and question?
Well, I haven't think about a question yet, but I think she really put an effort on her vocabulary. But because of the connection is quite poor, so I think her voice not clear enough.
Yeah, I think that she has a problem with her voice.
Yeah.
She tried a lot, but is that right? You have problem with your voice, Miss Linh Dương?
Maybe because of the air conditioner.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yes, me too. Sometimes I could not hear your voice. I had to guess what are you talking. Yes. Okay. What about the others? What about the others? I want to listen comments from classmates. Miss number 2. I'm not sure that Miss or Mr. Number 2, please. A comment on a slide, on presentation skill, comment about contents of the presentation.
I think the slide is very easy to see, and voice is quite.
Louder, please. Louder, please.
I think the slide is very easy to see and easy to understand, but her voice is quite. I don't know how to describe, but her voice is quite weak. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the content?
I think it's pretty clear for us to understand.
Again, please. What about the content?
The content is
the content of presentation.
It's quite easy to understand.
Yes, but okay. So now listen to me, please. I have some comment and a question for you. Okay, look at on the slide. On the slide, you said here on the left side, the collecting bank will only issue the commercial documents. Explain the meaning of issue the commercial documents for this content. Why you said the collecting bank will only issue the commercial documents? What about the meaning of this one?
It means that it requires that the importer must pay to receive the documents.
So you cannot use the verb issue. Issue means that you build, you create, you establish.
Okay.
So if you use this word, make us confused. Okay, so collecting bank doesn't
release the
yes
commercial.
you can use another word like a release or transfer, but not issue. Okay, remember first one. The second one, when you present some second ago, you mentioned a lot that sometimes the importer doesn't pay for the collecting fees, refused to pay collecting fees. Okay, so now my question, if the importer doesn't pay for collection fees, who has to pay?
Well, in that case, that the importer they just don't pay the fees; they still pay the goods. So we can deduct the fees for transferring a little more money for the remitting bank. Means that we minus the fees on the money we give to the remitting bank.
So you mean that remitting bank bear the fees, has to pay for the fee, or exporter pay for the fee, for the fees? Because you said that the importer pay for the goods, right? For example, the value of documents is 100,000 US dollars. Please listen to me, please, all of you. Now, suppose that the value of the amount of the documents is 100,000 US dollars. Suppose that collection fee is $20. $20 only. Yeah. Okay. Now the importer doesn't agrees on collection fee. He or she said that I just agree to pay for the documents. It means 100,000 US dollars. Okay. Here is the payment for the documents. 100,000 US dollars. Okay, like you said that the collecting bank deducted $20 before he transfer the document. Sorry, before he transfer the left to the remitting bank, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it means remitting bank receive less than 100,000 US dollars, right?
Yes.
Right? Okay. And then, okay, so if you collecting bank transfer the amount less than 100,000 US dollars. That's why I have a question. Who remitting bank or exporter has to pay for the fees?
Because in the URC 522 law, it stated that the fee arise from any parties is the responsibility of them to pay it. Phí bên nào bên đấy chịu à? It means that the exporter will have to face with that risk.
Okay, I understand. I understood your explanation. You said that if the importer doesn't pay for the fees, okay, so the collecting bank transfer the amount less than the amount of documents, right? Okay, he transfer, for example, he transfer that the amount to remitting bank, and then remitting bank transfer all money received from the collecting bank to exporter.
Yeah.
Or he has to pay, remitting bank pays 100,000 US dollars. I mean, I want you to clarify who pay for the collection fee in case the importer refuse payment, refuse to pay the collection fees.
Yes, I just mentioned that the exporter will have to take the responsibility of all the missing fees.
If the importer doesn't agree to pay for that, for collection fee, who take responsibility for making payment on the fees?
Because the remitting bank doesn't have to take any responsibility. So the export, if the export doesn't accept, they will not receive the money. So I think that they have more risk than the importer. So the
okay. Remember, please. In transaction, any types of transaction through the bank, remember, if I cannot collect fees, from customer, for example, I has right to ask the person who asked me to do something. For example, collecting bank cannot collect fees from importer. So collecting bank has right to ask remitting bank to pay for the fees, because remitting bank ask collecting bank to collect payment from the importer. In turn, remitting bank, in case remitting bank cannot, when collecting bank asks remitting bank to pay for the fee, remitting bank ask the exporter. He has right to ask the exporter to pay for the fees. But if the exporter has problem or he doesn't want to pay, in that case, remitting bank has to pay for the fees, because anyway, remitting bank has to pay fees for collecting bank. I mean that after doing service, collecting bank has to have collection fees. So you mentioned many times that importer refused to pay for the collection fees. That's why I need to explain about that. Okay, now I have a question for you. Write out, please. Does the importer check the documents before making payment or before accepting time B? Is that clear for you? Because you mentioned about the checking the documents. Okay, that is the question. The second question is, I cannot remember the slide, but at some slide you said that under DP. Okay, here please look at this one. Both goods and documents arrive at the same time. What's the meaning of this one? And after listening, I will ask you about next question. Okay, explain first.
Yeah, with the first question, under DA, the importer have rights to check the document before making.
No. You don't need to answer my question now. explain about the content on the slide now. Look at on the left side. Both goods and documents arrive at the same time. I don't understand this point.
This means that on the first step of the process, when the exporter and the importer makes a sales contract, after they made up the agreement, the exporter start to ship the goods and the docs will be prepared at the same time.
Who prepares the documents?
Firstly, the exporter will prepare the documents.
Okay. That's why you said that both goods and documents arrive at the same time. Arrive at the same time. But you just explained that exporter prepare the documents, but not arrive. That's why, you make us confused. I was very confused when I see this point.
So, because before we have compared the DP and the forward DP, so this is different from the forward DP.
No. Even under DP or DA or forward DP, we cannot state both goods and documents arrive at the same time. No, because the goods were sent from the exporter to the importer. The documents were sent from exporter to the importer, but through the banks. So how can they arrive at the same time? How? That is a wrong content. So I think that there are a lot of contents, sorry, but not correct, incorrect. I agree that you have your group prepare some contents carefully. You have definition, you analyze the transaction, you provide solution to prevent, to lessen the risk, okay? But a lot of contents are not correct. Okay, so now, next question, the second question for your group. What are the reasons? What are the reasons the importer refuse to pay under DP and refuse acceptance under DA? Under DP and under DP, refuse payment under DP, refuse acceptance under DA. I mean the two cases, okay? So you have two questions. Prepare the question, and then when the second group finish presenting, please answer two questions. Is that clear for you?
Oh, yeah.
It is a question for your group, but not for you only. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I got it.
Yes. Okay. And stop sharing. And now, please, the second group, please. Next group, please.
Yes, can you wait a minute? My room will show the slide.
Okay.
Good morning, teacher and friends. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Sang. Today I will represent for group 9 to talk about the risk of the remitting bank under DA and DP transaction. So the previous group clarify the definition of the collecting of the documentary collection and the definition of DP and DA transaction. So I will focus on the risk of the remitting bank under the TP and DA transaction. As you can see, under the URC 522, we see that the remitting banks do not take any responsibility in the collection process because the main they are expressed through the Article 10, 11, 13, and 14 I mentioned here. On the other hand, in the Article 22, the remitting bank only takes the responsibility on the form of the financial documentary. However, in the collection process, the bank wants to provide the best service for their customers, so they will take some risks in the process of providing the service. Firstly is the national risk. It means the misunderstanding the law and the rules of international wait me please. It means the misunderstanding the laws and the rules of international trade in a party's country. If the transaction was international, the exporter needed to understanding the rules of trading in the partner country. Some possible problems such as time drafts reach the collecting bank or the time the remitting bank sends a draft which starts the contract between parties. So to handle this problem, the remitting bank the exporter should choosing the bank which belongs the remitting bank to be the collecting bank. And next, the exporters should choose a local bank with high reputation and learning the local international trade law and rules in the importer's country. The second risk is the misunderstanding guidance. It means the remitting bank could give wrong instruction which cause the delay of the receipt money from the collecting bank. So the remitting bank should give the emergency notification about the mistake in the guidance, and before sending the document, they should check the information carefully before sending the instruction. And the last one is the credit risk. When the exporter does not want to wait for the importer pay the bill to receive money, The exporter can sell the bill to the bank at discounted rate. Therefore, if the buyer refuses to pay the bill, the remitting bank will take the risk. The bank will reduce the source to credit. So the remitting bank should check the payment ability of the importer carefully. So that's the end of our topic today. Thanks for your listening.
Yeah, thank you. How many slides are there on your presentation? How many slides?
We have 12.
12?
12 slides.
Okay. So do you have a DP and DA transaction on your slide?
Yes.
Okay, please show it up. The transaction. The diagram. Here is the steps.
Yeah.
Do you have a diagram?
No
or yes?
We don't have the diagram.
Okay, so stop sharing. Stop sharing. I will show my slide and then I give you some questions. First, listen to the comments from your classmates, and then I will. Do you see the slide? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So now, comments first, please. What about your classmates? Make comments or comment on slide, on presentation skills, on contents, please. Yes, Bùi Ngọc Nhung or Bùi Nhung Ngọc, because without number very difficult
yes.
for me.
Yes, I will take it after. So, yes. I think that the group have a nice slide and have a nice presentation. So my question is, whether the interest rate can be one of the rates for the remitting bank in collect the money if the exchange rate change, so they will deal with it by what? So it's my question.
Can you repeat? You have two parts of your question, right?
Yes.
Okay. First one is.
First one is whether the exchange rate is one of the rates of the remitting bank, and if they are one of the rates, then how remitting bank deal with it?
Okay, so I understood that. I repeat, and if it is your meaning, confirm please. Is there exchange rate risk for remitting bank? Is that right? Exchange rate risk for remitting bank? Is that right? Your question is there exchange rate risk for remitting bank? Answer me, please.
Yes.
Okay, the second part of the
Yes.
question is if any, I mean that if there is exchange rate risk, what about the solution to prevent the risk? Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so two parts of the question. Okay, what about the presentation group? Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so the
In my opinion, the primitive
sorry, you don't need to answer right now. Listen to the comment and question, and then you have free time. You have time to presentation. To answer after the first group answer, and then your turn, please. Here, what about the others? Do you have any comments and questions? Okay, if not, it's my turn. Now, look at on the slide. Look at on the slide. Step number 2. Step number 3. Under step number 3, step number 3. Don't mention. Don't care about DA or DP. Just program process. Now, step number 3. The exporter send documents and BE to the remitting bank. Okay, so now exporter really wants to have payment immediately, just after submitting the documents to the remitting bank. Okay, suppose that remitting bank agrees. Look at on the slide. Remitting bank agrees to pay. So the question is, does remitting bank face the risk? What kind of risk the remitting bank will face? What about the solution for this risk, for those risks? Okay, is the second question. Now I repeat, after receiving the documents by step number 3, remitting bank pays the exporter before collecting money from collecting bank. So my question is, what about the risks that the remitting bank face? And solution to lessen those risks. Is that clear for you, for your group? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so now listen the first group, please.
Can you wait a second?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Do you need to show? Do you need to show your slide? If you need, I will stop sharing my slide.
Can you allow me to share the slide?
Okay. Okay, please. Now you can share your slide.
I'm answering for the first group. Or
Okay, please. Can you tell me the name of your group? Hello. Linh Dương.
our group is group number 3.
3, okay. Okay. Answer the question, please.
The first question you asked me is that does the importer have the right to check the document before making payment or accept the BE? So my answer is that
sorry, I mean that check the importer check the documents before making payment, or and before accepting the BE. Yes or no?
So it's under the importer. It is yes, they can check the docs because
Can or cannot? Can or cannot?
They can.
You mean that cannot?
It can. Yes, it's a yes.
It is your group answer or just your answer?
It's our group answer.
So you have no you have no right to check the documents, right?
So they have rights to check the documents before making payment or making acceptance to the BE.
But you said that cannot. Some second ago you said that cannot, right?
No, I said that I can. They can. Maybe you misheard it.
Are they available to check? Available to check or not available to check?
They are available to check.
So because you say can't. Okay. So now they check the documents.
Under DP, they still can check the documents before deciding it.
Yes. What about under the A transaction?
Under the A, so it's very obvious that they must check the documents before making any payment, before accepting the BE.
Before accepting the BE, right?
Yeah, but
okay. What about the purpose of checking the documents?
They check the documents to make sure that there's no problem with the time or the instruction made in the sale contract.
Okay. Okay, answer the second question, please.
So the second question you asked us about the reasons the importer refused to pay under the both two transactions. So the reason our group goes is first they could found another exporter with a more reasonable price that makes the importer want to change the exporter.
Go on, please.
And another reason is because they recognize some problems in the documents and they want to change the plan.
Next.
And maybe the price could depend on the market. It fluctuates during the payment time or the shipping time could be different. So they could not agree with the price change. And
when you okay, go ahead.
And the most common reason could be that the importer have some financial problems. Maybe they be default.
Okay. So now my question. If the importer refuse making payment, the question is, does collecting bank face risk? Yes or no?
I'm sorry, can you repeat now? Does collecting bank face risk when?
If the importer refuse to pay, refuse payment under DP transaction, the collecting bank face the risk or not?
They could face a risk because they will not receive the fee, and maybe it's some valuable goods, so it couldn't be returned to the exporter, so it could be a risk.
For risk for collecting bank of risk for the exporter or risk for remitting bank?
I think they also have to face with risk. Maybe the exporter risk is the most, but the collecting bank, when they couldn't collect the fees, they will lose their profit, and it is considered as a risk.
If you cannot collect the fees, it is not good for you because of you can earn money. You cannot earn money, but we should say that we should not say that the bank face the risk because of cannot obtain cannot collect the fees. So I want you conclude about the risk for the collecting bank. For the second case.
For the
case below, the remitting bank send you cover letter. Cover letter. Do you still remember cover letter?
Yeah, the cover letter.
What is this in Vietnamese? Cover letter. What is this?
No, it's the document made by the remitting bank to
yes.
insurance the payment.
Thư đòi tiền. Okay, now suppose that collecting bank receives cover letter from the remitting bank. There is a term in the cover letter is released documents against payment. Released documents against payment.
It's under DP.
And then the collecting bank ask the importer to accept the bill. Accept the bill. Okay, question is, does collecting bank face the risk? Yes or no? Think about it, and answer the question in 1 minute. In 1 minute.
Okay.
You discuss with your class group, your group's mates.
Sorry, can I ask you again that the you just asked us about DP, right? Under DP, the previous question is about under DP documents again payment.
How many questions I gave you?
But the last question you are asking me is about the documents against payment,
no,
right?
I didn't mention about the P or the A. You have to understand that I just mentioned about the content of the cover letter.
Okay, thank you.
sometimes we cannot see the word DP or DA, but based on the content in the cover letter, we have to, so we infer the type of collection with release documents against payment. So you have to understand it is DP or DA with the term release documents against payment. DP or DA?
DP.
Yes, and the collecting bank asked the importer to accept. So it's wrong or right? Is there any risk? Okay, answer the question, please.
Well, my answer is there is a risk when the importer refuse to sign the BE, they
Yes.
won't make the payment.
So because in the job presentation, you didn't mention about this point. That's why I gave you a question in order to explain about the risk for collecting bank. You can see the risk in this case. I mean that my conclusion is the collecting bank doesn't follow the instruction of cover letter. Is it clear for you? Is it clear for you? Yes or no, please? Okay, so now move to the next question. Sorry, the next group number 9. Answer the question, please.
Yeah, we will answer the question for the number 9 group. At the in the first question from Nhung, I think that remitting bank do not miss the risk, the exchange rate risk, because the jobs of remitting bank either take the documentary, transfer it to collecting bank, and take the money from collecting bank and transfer to the exporter. So and the second reason is the exchange rate is and either acceptance between the importer and exporter. So remitting bank do not meet the exchange rate risk. And
okay, can you repeat the question of Miss Nhung, please?
Miss Nhung say that as my group is there the exchange rate risk for the remitting bank. So my group answer is no, because remitting bank just take the documentary from exporter and transfer it to importer. So
to the collecting bank, to
the collecting bank, and take the money from the collecting bank and transfers to the exporter. So the exchange rate risk is not
incur. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now answer my question first, and then we come back your answer. Okay. Because of, I want to add something into your first answer, but the answer for first question, but I need you answer my question now. Yes. Repeat the question, please.
Your question is what is the remitting bank will pay the payment for the exporter immediately. So and what is remitting bank risk in this activity? So my answer in the slide number 12. It is the remitting bank will make a loan for the exporter by discount the bill of exchange if they don't if the exporter don't want to doesn't want to wait the payment. So so if the importer do not obtain the payment for the collecting bank, so it's not so it leads to the remitting bank don't have the payment to this to take the loan. It means that maybe the loan will be decreased if the if the importer obtain the payment. So so the remitting bank will miss the credit risk if the importer do not pay the payment from exporter, pay the bill.
So you mean that there is a risk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now, do you want to change the answer for the first question?
The first question from you.
Yes. Now, after answering the second question, you confirm that there is a risk for remitting bank because of this case, right? And the question from Miss Nhung is a general question. So do you want to change the answer?
I think no. Because
You know?
the answer of my group.
Okay. What about the conclusion?
The conclusion is in my slide, in our group slide. It is the three risks of the remitting bank. It is national risk, and mid-tax guidance and credit risk. Yeah. So.
Okay. So now here is my conclusion. First, I want you to remember. Look at on the slide number 12. The group said that remitting bank make a loan. I'm so sorry. Can we have a break earlier than normal? Break time? Yeah, we have break time, please.
Yes.
Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Cô xin lỗi các bạn một chút nhé. Vừa rồi là hôm nay là các bạn ở sinh viên năm cuối là nhận được cái thông tin của cái xét tốt nghiệp sinh viên, xin lỗi không phải năm cuối mà sinh viên của những cái khóa trước ấy. Các bạn còn lại điều kiện mà chưa được tốt nghiệp thì bây giờ các bạn ấy nhìn thấy cái danh sách của trường và có nhiều bạn là không được tốt nghiệp, cho nên là các bạn cứ gọi liên tục để gọi là cầu cứu đấy, để xem là bây giờ xử lý như thế nào. Không được tốt nghiệp thì đấy là một cái vấn đề rất là căng thẳng. Mà cô thì cũng là cố vấn học tập, cho nên đấy là nhiệm vụ của cô trong cái lúc nước sôi lửa bỏng. Rất là sorry các bạn là phải trả lời cái điện thoại khi mà đang giảng trong lớp, nhưng mong các bạn thông cảm. Okay, so now go on with the answer from group number 9. My conclusion is remitting bank has my conclusion is collecting bank has exchange rate risk, because in case you pay before you receive the payment from the collecting bank, of course in the future they pay you in foreign currency, and maybe at that time the exchange rate is different from the exchange rate you paid the exporter before. That's why my conclusion is yes, remitting bank has exchange rate risk. What about the from this one, from the presentation, I want you to remember two different things between discount. Group number 9 said that bank discount. Okay, so the differences between discount and negotiation, we will have chance to listen to the to next groups on next Thursday or next Tuesday. Can you repeat the time? Presentation time for next presentation. What about the time for next presentation?
The next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yes. Next Tuesday, right? Okay, right. Next Tuesday. Okay, do we have any question for DP and DA before I stop lesson last previous lesson? Did we have any question? Yes or no? I remember we have some questions about DA transaction, DP transaction, DA transaction. Have we answer all of them? Yes or no? I will show you some question and easy for you to follow. Yes, we have some question like on the slide. Have we answer all of them? Yes or no? I think that yes, not yet, right? Answer my question, please. Let me know, because I cannot remember. Hello, hello. You are so crazy. 46, please. What about the question on the slide? We answer or not? 46?
Yes, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
As I remember, we have finished all the questions from the DP transactions, but not with DA.
Okay, so you mean that we finished all questions about DP, right?
Wait a minute, let me check.
Yeah.
Well, we just stopped at the number 4 of document against payment. We not finished yet.
Question number 4, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It is
Okay,
possible to. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I think that we don't need to answer the question number 5, number 6 right now. But you need to study yourself for your final exam. Okay, so now move to some questions for discussion on the slide. We have a 6 question. Okay, in the class, please focus on question number 1, number 2, number 3, okay. First 3 questions, number 1, number 2, and number 3.
Can you share the slide? I haven't seen
I didn't
it.
share. I didn't share.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, so I give you 3 minutes for each question. I mean that you have 9 minutes in total. And then after 9 minutes, we answer the question. Okay, number 1, number 2, and number 3.
Teacher,
Yes,
we just finished studying the DP. We haven't studied DA yet.
Okay, so now move to the DA transaction. On the slide, we have 4 parties. The party are the same as the DP transaction. Exporter is also principal. Importer is also drawee. And we have a remitting bank and collecting bank. The first transaction, the first step is agreement between the exporter and the importer. I mean that the seller and the buyer sign a sales contract. They agree to use DE as a method of payment. Number 2, exporter ship the goods to the importer. Number 3 is exporter creates collection instructions. Collection instruction I explained before. The exporter present or submits BE and commercial documents. BE and commercial documents. But remember, BE in this case is SIBE or time BE. We are talking about DA, documents against acceptance. So BE in this case, BE used in this case is SIBE or time BE.
Time BE.
Right, time BE. Remember, under DP transaction, we use BE, or maybe we don't use BE. But in case we use BE, the BE must be at site B. Whereas under DA transaction, the BE is time B or usance B or tender B. In Vietnamese, hối phiếu kỳ hạn. Okay, step number 4 is based on collection instruction, the remitting bank creates cover letter and forward all financial documents and commercial documents to the collecting bank. Very easy for you because of nearly the same as step number 3 under DP transaction. Step number 5, collecting bank advise the importer of the documents. Thông báo cho người nhập khẩu về chứng từ. So you say advise importer of documents. The step number 6 is the importer accept the B because we are talking about DA. So time B. That's why step number 6 is importer accepts the B. Number 7, collecting bank release documents to the importer. Transfer, give the document to the importer. Number 8 is collecting bank transfer evidence of acceptance of the B, evidence or proof of the acceptance of the B. Chuyển bằng chứng chấp nhận hối phiếu. The last one same as step number 8, but just different. The person, the person who transfer here is remitting bank, and the person who receive here is exporter. Okay, that is a transaction. But sometimes, or in fact, in reality, some parties want to stop the transaction at any step. They don't want to follow. They don't want. There are 9 steps in the transaction. They want to stop. That's why we have some questions. We have some questions to discuss. Okay, look at the questions on the slide. I said that we focus on first three questions. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. You have 10 minutes for those three, and after 10 minutes, we answer the question. Okay, it is 11:08, so come back in 11:18. Prepare 10 minutes for preparing. 11:18. Okay. Hello, hello. Answer the question, please. Are you ready? Raise your hands, please. A lot of students turn off the camera automatically. Okay, Nguyễn Việt Thành, please. Number 45.
I only answer the question one. Is that okay?
Okay.
I think in the process stop at step number 5 in the case that the importer don't want to have the transaction anymore. They didn't want to receive the good or doesn't want to business with the exporter. And because importer has found other exporter who offer better offer for importer, like lower price or higher quality. I think it is.
Yes. If the importer accept the B, of course, after accepting the B, the bank transfer the document to the importer, right? And the importer can receive the goods. I wonder that why the importer stop the transaction at step number 5, because if he accepts the B, he has chance to receive the goods. Why he don't want to receive the goods? Can you explain in detail? Do you understand my meaning?
Can you repeat it?
Yeah. If the importer, okay, look at the step number 5. Step number 5 is collecting bank advice the importer that now all documents in my hands, right? Commercial documents and financial documents, in this case is BE, okay? All of them in my hands. Do you want to have documents? If the importer want to have documents, the importer just needs to accept the BE. Doesn't need to pay, right? Accept the BE. Of course, after accepting, I am a bank, I have to transfer the document to the importer. And then the importer can clear the goods, take a position of the goods, sở hữu hàng hóa. Maybe in the future, he refused payment. No problem for him, okay? So my question is, why the importer stops the transaction at step number 5, but not step number stop the transaction at number 5, and in the future he doesn't pay. He will refuse payment on due date vào ngày đáo hạn, in the future. What about the reason behind this action? If you were the importer and you sign the contract, you use DA as a method of payment, okay? If you really want to have the goods, okay, so you accept the BA, and then you have chance to receive the goods, right? Okay, number 46, please. You have the answer.
Well, I think because there is something in contract that it is not the way that he want, so he refused to sign the BL the bill of exchange.
Sorry, I don't understand your meaning.
I mean that maybe in the documents that the collecting bank present to the importer, there is something in the sale contract that is not I mean it is not the thing that he wanted, or there is something that is not right as the time that exporter and importer they made a contract, so he refused to sign the bill of exchange.
You mean that he or she found out some differences between the documents and the sale contract, right?
Yes.
And the differences is hard for her or for him. That's why he doesn't want to receive the goods. It is your meaning, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. It means that Miss 46 said that because of some reasons, the importer doesn't want to have the goods because it's not good for her or for him. For example, the documents different from the agreements between the exporter and the importer. Or maybe she found out that the goods, the quality of the good describes on the paper, on the documents, different from the terms and conditions in the sale contract. So he think that, oh, if I receive the goods, it's not good for me. That's why he wants to stop the transaction, right? Okay, good. I asked you, I gave you a question, that question because of I want you to understand the complicated transaction in reality. In theory, you see from step number 1, and then we move to step number 2, and then next step number 3, after that step number 4, something like that. But in fact, many factors, many reasons that you want to stop the transaction. Once you feel not good for you, hard for you, but it benefit to you, of course, you go on to follow the transaction. Okay, so now next question is question number moment. Now, still question number 1. Okay, so if the transaction stop at step number 5, who face the risk? If the transaction stop at step number 5, who face the risk? Answer the question, please. Mr. Oh, sorry. Nguyễn Trung Khánh.
If the step 5 is missing, so the importer.
Sorry, not missing. Stop at.
Stop at.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. If the step 5, if we stop at step 5, so the importer might face the risk because they don't have any documentary to collect the goods. Also, yes, that's what I think.
You said that importer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now I have a small question for you. Who can stop the transaction at step number 5? The exporter or the importer?
The exporter.
Exporter or importer?
Importer.
Importer, okay. So I mean that the importer is a person who initiate to stop the transaction. Chủ động dừng quy trình. Okay. If you initiate to stop the transaction, it means you see something, some hard thing for you, not good for you. That's why the way you analyze, not really right. We have to change the way we think about the consequence of stopping transaction at step number 5. Number 39, please. 39,
So I
please.
think that if the transaction stop at step 5, so the exporter will face the risk because
Okay.
if the goods here is a short life goods, so the goods can be
Rotten.
Yes.
Rotten. Yes.
So the exporter will face
Face
the
the
risk.
risk. Okay.
But I also think that when the exporter and importer sign in the contract, and in the contract have a term which in this case the importer cancel the contract, they will pay the money that is the insurance for the exporter.
Yes. Yes, I understand your meaning. But now I have a question. If imagine if the exporter and the importer sign a contract, they use FOB as a rules in Incoterm 2020, Incoterm 2020.
Yes.
You use rule FOB. Okay? Try to remember previous lesson. With FOB, nobody has to buy the insurance, right? Nobody.
Yes.
So,
but
okay.
If the
Go ahead.
If they agreement with each other, they can also buy the insurance.
Yes. So you say that if they agree to use, they negotiated that the importer has to buy insurance, right?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with you that if the transaction stop at step number 5, so the exporter face the risk. I agree with you that first point. Okay, write down please. And the second person who face the risk, is remitting bank. If remitting bank financed, ed past tense, financed the exporter, for example, give a loan for the exporter, discount for the exporter, negotiate for the exporter. So of course, in this case, the lender, I mean that the remitting bank face the risk. But remember, remitting bank face risk just when he supports or finance the tài trợ, exporter. Our lesson today stop here. Remember, next lessons we still have 2 questions. Think about 2 questions. And next lesson, I mean that on next Tuesday, we have 4 groups. We have 4 presentation. Okay? 4 presentation. Before you leave the class, the monitor, can you check the attendance, please?
Yes.
And when you finish, you leave the classroom. Okay, please. Bye-bye.
Xong rồi nha các cụ nhá.